see everyone again. I'm Jordan Romano. I'm interning with GLTC, and gonna get connected here. Exciting new developments to present today.
Hold on a second. Hey, Greg, are you able to see the screen as well?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so just picking up where we left off, this was the roadmap back in January. So this is just to kind of see how far we've gotten since then. First bit of this is that chatbot is now live on the web. It's hosted on its own dedicated server, runs 24/7 and handles pretty good traffic. A friend of mine who's also a programmer once told me that building something is a lot easier than deploying it. So this was definitely pretty hard to do. I had to kind of rebuild it to get it on the web. But what I'm going to show here is there's going to be you're going to see an improvement to the buttons. There's going to be a completely new button with a new function, speech to text is available and fully functioning on the web as well, and it works on mobile. So that's a big thing because a lot of people will probably be accessing this from their phones. And then the final thing I'll be showing is audit logging. So to gauge performance and how many people use it and all that, that's also something that's been implemented. All right, so to get to the chatbot, right from the site here, gltconline.com, you just type in /askgltc. It takes you to this hidden portal here. So no one from the public can access this at the moment, just for the board and employees that test internally and all that. You click anywhere on the picture or the button, and it'll take you to the chatbot here. So some styling changes, backgrounds changed. Before I go over that, there's also secure socket layer for this specific when you access this link. So all information is secure. Up here, any information that you put in, accessing the site is secure. All right. So this is the sorry.
I'm about to get him.
All right. So some styling changes. I just want to show a mobile screenshot. This is how it looks like on mobile. So it's just off my phone. You're accessing it on mobile. It scales for use on mobile there. Starting with the first button. So transit buttons changed a little bit. Video now has video controls, and actually any video that ever displays on the chatbot will have similar volume. You can download the video, full screen and all that. Now this new button you'll see here is one I'm really excited about, because this is, in my opinion, it's probably the coolest function about this chatbot. It's the stops button. What it does is it returns the 3 closest bus stops to you, and it returns the 3 next buses that are arriving at those bus stops. And this works globally. I mean, I've tried it in Norway on a Norwegian VPN. It works in Norway. My mom lives in Georgia. She tried it in Noonan, Georgia. It tells her the 3 nearest bus stops there. So this is something that really, next time you're in Richmond or next time you go out of state or anywhere, you can really use and rely on here. Sorry, I'm gonna refresh this.
But just know, anywhere in the country, you can always ask GLTC.
And definitely feel free to try your mobile phone, even now if you'd like.
So one thing just to note is because we're very upfront with the permissions, the first time you use.
The first time, that's what yeah.
Permissions, location, and then the same thing, if you do text to speech, it's going to ask you, are you okay with the user?
Right, so since I've already allowed permission, so I'm pulling it up again, this is what it'll look like for you. When you first access it, you do have to give it permissions. So it'll ask you at the top left here, wants to know your location, works on your browser and on mobile, it'll ask you this as well. And then it'll display the 3 nearest stops to you based on your device location, where you are currently. So right here, as you can see, Park Avenue, next stop, 3A arriving at 9:16 a.m. Kemper Street Transfer Station. It tells you how far away it is and the next bus. Everybody like what they're seeing so far? Any questions?
How do you get to it on the mobile again?
Right, so you go to gltconline.com/askgltc and then click anywhere on the page and it'll take you to it.
So once we move this out of the beta testing, it'll be right there accessible on the website. This is just so we can finish testing. We'd like everybody to start playing around with it, see if you ask a question that stumps it, if there's something that is causing an issue, something else I think that we need. And then Jordan, you want to mention about the static times right now?
Right, so with Equans providing real-time GTFS data, so that's another exciting function that it's not related to the stops button, but it's in there and it's ready for when Equans integrates their systems. So just to demonstrate that, this is just a TXT file of standard, GTFS feed. So if we just take a stop ID here, and the reason why this one still goes off of stop ID because still waiting on the real-time GTFS feed. This is just to demonstrate that it's already in there. So that's basically how we return the exact stop ID name here, and then where it's located, based on the real-time data it provides. So when Equans integrates that, it's already built in. It's just a matter of switching out the data.
So I'm playing with it right here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just tested it with a couple things like, how to book paratransit. It pulls up information, information and application forms, asking questions around, do I qualify for half fares, pulling up, directly links over to the ID form. So it's really nice. Well done.
Thank you. And the next button here, not many changes to that, and I did that for a reason. I really wanted to encourage people to ask you questions rather than just get a list of fare prices. So I left that as is, but for this, I'm actually going to demonstrate speech to text. So how much is a 2-week pass? So it's really fast, as you can see. Doesn't take much time at all. There's no lag. Even with multiple users using it. I'm gonna do it again just in case you missed it here. So, car show.
What would you just?
Sorry?
Would you just?
Oh, car show. Yeah, this is just extra thing I added because I know there's a car show coming up for GLTC, so I added some information in for that event. How do I get a paratransit ID? So, pulls up, now it's not bulletproof. It might, misunderstand what you're saying, but it does usually work most of the time. So, and it's pretty quick. All right.
Is there a feedback application in there where if somebody is constantly getting the wrong answer or something, they can send you feedback.
Right, so that is, let me actually, I'll get back to that, because that's a great question. The audit logs will be addressing that specific, yeah. So, over here, the transfer station button, sorry. So, as before, it displays, Google Mini Maps, link of where the transfer station is. If they expand it, you know, they get your basic Google Maps information, you know, phone number, address, website. Alright. So, and, the help button here, of course, as before. Now, if you do use this on mobile and you click the phone number link, it'll auto dial that for you. So, that's just to make it more convenient, so you don't have to, you know, put the whole number in. Same thing with email, it'll auto draft an email for you that goes to feedback@GLTC. But definitely to address the feedback question. So with the final bit I wanted to show is audit logs. So every time you have a conversation with it, I have a conversation with it, anyone chats with this chatbot, there's a log that's generated by IP address, and it's a unique TXT file that contains the history of everything that's been said in the chatbot. So an example of that is this one. And the reason it's in a TXT file and not something a little, you know, fancier, it just for storage purposes. If a lot of people are using it, it doesn't take up much space.
Clear out.
Yeah. So let's get this
So
one.
we've got it set so that it automatically downloads them every month. Of course, we can get in and get to it more quickly, but it's automatically archiving and pulling them out every month so that we have those records so that it doesn't build up. Or with text files, it's not a white space. So.
And for the feedback and performance, so let's say it's saying, sorry, I couldn't understand you a million times. I mean, we see it in the text file, then clearly there's something that it doesn't know how to answer and that the library for the chatbot needs to be expanded. So it needs to understand certain questions or responses need to be improved. So this is kind of a way for us to see how well it's performing. Or let's say someone here has an issue, we can go back to the audit logs and we can see exactly what time. So this is, of course, universal time right here, but it goes all the way down to the second and of course the date, and everything is all in one file. So we can see how people are really using this. Also, now this is of course, you know, an old folder of the chat logs, but with a lot of use, this would fill up, you know, and let's say there are 20 chat logs or 100, you know, that helps us kind of estimate how many people are using it.
Those chat logs, though, that really talk about what the topic is. I mean, they're building a chat log based on a topic, affairs or topic. Shouldn't it be illustrated in that screen? You know, if I go to that chat log and I just want to read all the comments compared to about fairs, is there a way of doing that or?
Yeah, that, so yeah, adding it, like a survey at the end, that would probably match those
Well, you
needs.
can,
Yeah.
can you
Or-
control find or whatever and just find the
We
words
could do that as
there?
well,
So
yeah.
there's also some business intelligence pieces. So I'm by no means an expert in this, but like Power BI, there is a way to import text files and have it correlate. And that's one of the reasons that we also left them as a text file, because there are other programs that will help us do that. Microsoft has a couple through some of its forms and analytics and stuff. So that's something that we'll, as we get more responses and stuff, we'll play with. But
Yep.
Okay, so I have a couple things. The first is I use 2 different browsers on my phone and I never got prompted to ask about my location, so I could never use the stocks.
Right. So for that, you have to go to settings, device settings, and allow, for example, Safari's the browser on iPhone.
Yeah.
You have to allow Safari to use your location. If the browser can't use your location, it won't be able to detect the ability to use location. But I can actually show you that at the end, how to do that on Android or iPhone, and we can,
And that's one thing that
Yeah.
we've talked about is we'll have some information about if you can't, if it's not pulling up, if it's not letting you do this, then these are the most common reasons. and
Is,
stuff.
yeah, is there like a way of, so when you click the stops button, it says must act, you know?
it does, yeah. Usually it'll pop up.
Because it didn't on.
It's fine if I show you this
Yeah, yeah.
real quick. All right. So when it's, activated on settings, it'll pop up like this. So it'll always ask you for your location from here. Well, right now it's allowed, but it'll pop up stops right here, but it just has to be allowed on the device. Yeah.
So I'm just
And that's
wondering
just for
for,
privacy.
if there are devices that don't have allowed, like obviously, I don't, that it would say can't work. Like, is there a way to make it register that that's what's blocking it?
Yeah, I can add some error codings and, that'll tell you, really how, go into, that you have to go into settings.
Yeah.
And, it's probably not enabled. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can add that to make it more instructive
Clear,
for
because
people,
otherwise I'm
yeah.
like, I don't think this button works, because I'm not getting any type of error.
Right.
The second thing is is this compatible with any type of like translation device, or translation settings on phones, like for example, if somebody was Spanish speaking?
Yeah.
That, you know, to make this,
So, as, before, this, does, understand Spanish.
oh, okay.
At the
Directly
moment.
onto the device.
And you could really, GLTC site has it, but you could also utilize the browser's, translation plugin.
Okay.
So that'll translate everything on the chatbot if need be, but it can, understand Spanish, and you can actually, ask it about fares and all those other questions that would be asked in English, do work in Spanish. Yeah.
The other, I had two more, sorry. The other one is there a way to make subtitles on the videos?
I could definitely work on that. Those for the videos.
And then,
Is that the videos that we're gonna push out to our riders?
that are just like on Twitter.
Gotcha.
Probably like this one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then the other is how difficult is it to add in videos, like when there's like a car show and stuff, is that?
Oh, it's very easy. It can be done. I could definitely push that out, pretty quickly. So if there's a video, instructional video, if there's an event video, anything like that,
flyer for, like,
or a
event?
flyer, that can be pushed out pretty easily. More difficult stuff is just when you have to rebuild something, but that is just adding to the library of what it already has.
Okay, and so like,
So that can be done.
when you add to the library, can you do it so that like, you plug it in and it has like an automatic expiration date where then you don't have to go back in there? Or is that something that is basically an ongoing maintenance?
That would be, a little more difficult. I can look into that.
Just curious.
Usually right now, it is ongoing maintenance.
Okay.
So things need to be changed, and, the reason why is it has to rebuild every time. It's retaught. That's what kind of use it in like machine learning and AI, you have to retrain it. So on the new data, and that's, it's not difficult. It just requires, to just ongoing, just to kind of update. Yeah.
So like, for convenience purposes, then maybe, like when a chat, when they've gotten their answer, is there anything else I can help you with today? Also check out this website, and then it could like link to
Yeah.
like with all of our upcoming events that is more easily updated, and our videos and stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
And
we
that's
can link any, so just like the transit, we click on the transit app link there.
Oh, the transit outlook, yes. So these links are all functioning within the chatbot. So let's say you needed to download, the app for Android and you're on your phone, you click this button, it'll take you to the install.
So
Or,
just the same way, I mean, we can put a hyperlink in there and put it to GLTC's YouTube page or instruction videos.
Yeah.
We can.
Check out our videos here, check out our upcoming events here.
And so one of the things that we haven't got very far in on this, but kind of talked about is as we get ready to start deploying our mobile fare collection stuff, both the vendor has a number of instructional videos, and we'll probably make some. So that's where we just will point somebody to, here's the resources for this, instead of trying to put everything.
Yeah.
So, and just a hyperlink, which makes it a little bit easier to do that maintenance as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this
Thank you.
this
I
was
appreciate it.
started in January with a concept idea. And in 3 months, Jordan himself got it this far. So, yeah, there's some loose ends here, but the infrastructure, the design that he's placed is like a lattice work. Once we start identifying the topics, it's just filler. A good add on, hey, some videos should have an expiration date, excellent point. And that's good feedback. That's why right now we're doing a internal.
Yeah.
Try it out, see what breaks, see what's not right before we release it to the public. Just like, oh, my Safari thing doesn't do anything. Good catch. This is the testing phase, but Jordan, as an example, is a one-man show. And to imagine, I think it's extraordinary what we're seeing here, that you could go anywhere in the United States and ask GLTC where the nearest buses
Talk
are.
about a great PR.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, heck yeah.
What is the plan for sustainability look like? Right, so as you said, one-man shop, you're building this, it's awesome. You said it's tough to design, it's tougher to deploy, it's even tougher to maintain.
Well, I do have to say, it's it is actually, it's pretty easy to maintain. It's just, if the maintenance involves like rebuilding, you know what I mean? Like it's maintaining, the reason I say it's easy is because it's just adding more responses, just newer responses. If it doesn't answer a certain question, I can go in and, update its, library to,
And Jordan's, through this also made some pretty detailed instructions, both written instructions and some video instructions, which showing him doing the work so that, we have the ability to go in and make some of these edits.
So in response, to the feedback question,
yes.
could there be a code so that when you type feedback or either a feedback button, that you can, somebody could say, this didn't really get, I had trouble getting the answer I wanted, or they could like leave feedback and so that section would go immediately to some sort of help desk that they could go back at a later point and reference and kind of see what happened.
Right, yeah.
Because it would have the exact timestamp so they can pull up the exact
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
didn't
I
feedback.
could
It's
definitely
like,
work
I
on
don't
that.
know. Can you ask me that again? I'm like, send feedback, and it's like, can you rephrase that with its cute little smiley face, but like, how do
Yeah.
I send you feedback?
Yeah, like Mr. Spence said, and really, feedback at the end, a survey, for example, can be added in.
Well, I
So,
don't,
or,
I'm not talking survey.
Oh,
I'm
if
just
it,
talking,
I see what you mean, yeah.
just writing, like either a button that says,
If it
like when
returns
you go
more
to
errors,
help,
yeah.
when you go to help maybe, and it says, reach us here, to send us feedback directly on the chat, click here or whatever, and then it either populates an email that goes to GLTC
Yes.
or with a chat reference ID or whatever, the next text that goes through goes immediately to the help desk for
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, I'll work on that, because that really is a great idea. It hadn't crossed my mind, to be honest with you. So, that's one thing the good thing is love the feedback that I get because it kind of, tells me what direction to go in, when I'm improving something, so.
I mean, this is
So
incredible. I mean, it's fantastic on its own.
So really, anything, like, at all, any criticism, any positive constructive feedback, any of that, I appreciate it because, since last time, again, it helped me kind of narrow down what is most important. Like, for example, Mr. Spence, had pointed out, in January, it should be helpful if it can tell you what bus stops are, are near you. So that was something that, for example, inspired me with the stops button and, of course, the hours, that you mentioned, the difference in hours. I did add that in if you asked what are the hours, but I'm also gonna add it in, right over here. So that you'll see that update soon, which, will tell them when the customer service hours, so they don't just hit the number and call outside of hours. I remember, sorry if I got strong, but Randy, I believe you mentioned audit logs. Or, I don't remember very well, I'm sorry, but audit log that I believe where, so that was something I also, so I'm just saying that it really helps me a lot with, anything that there's room for improvement, it helps me learn as I do it and gets, something better out there.
So hours, fantastic. I love that. I said, what are the hours? And our buses run and it says that. And then our customer service, that too. The only suggestions I have for that is to say something regarding how some routes might vary from the times. And then the other thing is say if you can, or say Eastern Standard, EST, Eastern Standard Time, because now we could have somebody in a different time zone looking at our website.
Right. So that does actually work by, device time.
Okay,
So that is automatically, so if you're, and that's actually a good question, but if you're like in California, for example, different time zone, that'll work by Californian time rather than our time. But it goes
but,
by the
but
device.
like if I'm trying to know what the business hours.
Oh, the business hours, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
sorry. I
that's
thought
what
you
I'm
meant the stop button.
No, but I'm just saying when you're writing in the times, that way
Eastern
if
time.
someone is asking what are GLTC's business hours, they know they can't call GLTC
Yes,
outside of Eastern Standard
Eastern
Time.
Standard Time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can add that in as well, yeah.
Otherwise, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's amazing work.
So we'll give them.
I appreciate that. And to, just for the future roadmap, what, of course, what, has been mentioned, and also, next step is to grow its library, be able to handle different questions, provide better and more responses. And, we're gonna continue testing it. And, of course, when Equans finishes integrating, the real-time GTFS feed, that's something that, you'll see on here, which, I think will be very exciting because you'll get an exact time. So right now, the times that you get from stops is exactly what you find on Google Maps. So it might vary a minute or two if the bus is late. It's just like Google Maps, it's not, precise, but with real-time API, if the bus is running late, that's something that you'll be able to see on here.
And detours and stuff like that as well.
Mhm.
And we also have some other interesting things that we're looking at for the future, to be able to take it so that you don't have to interact with the website to get to it, so that you can interact with it. If you have a dumb phone, you just reach it via text. So we're exploring those options as well. And those aren't ready for deployment yet, but those are things that we're experimenting with. So our idea here is that we'd like everybody to beta test it. We're also going to be, spreading it to some other people to do some testing and stuff. We'd like to get any feedback anybody has, just like we've heard some this morning.
Mhm.
And then our intent is to make this public next month. So.
Are we gonna have any, like open houses or anything for our riders? I mean, just,
We'll have some outreach and stuff for this. I mean,
Yeah,
we're not just gonna sort of just say, it's out there, you see if you can find it, but yeah, we will. But
just like
A kickoff.
coffee and tech talk or something, I know it's a while, we used to have like,
I like that.
yeah, I mean, just something, that people that are more interested in using this can come by and get a demonstration.
yeah, we'll definitely be having outreach and stuff. And we're also, we were talking yesterday about having a very simple card size, whether it's a double-sided all-over business card or no card size with, here are the main couple of things to know. So we talk about permissions, talk about here are the couple of things, maybe something postcard size that we can also just hand out to people. Say, hey, here's how you get to it. Here are a couple of things about it. Here are some of the things, just for example, to have that so people can also use that as a reference. And we'll also send you a link to the site as well, so you don't have to keep remembering photography and stuff.
And yeah, the two things that need permissions would be the speech to text and of course the stops button, just to use your location. Everything else works without permissions, but those two need the permissions to use your device's location, and the other one needs the permission to use your device's microphone. Yeah, those are the only two things. Probably we'll have like a card that shows kind of how to allow permissions for that, so that they can use it all the time and all that. This is just a recap, screenshot of what's changed since the last roadmap. I mean, since the roadmap that we showed before, speech to text has been implemented, global bus stop information. Again, that uses live map satellite data. So same information that Google Maps returns, but not using Google Maps, but you kind of see what I mean here. And then live on the web, it's ready for equants and audit logs and the business style changes. Hopefully by next time, a lot more exciting developments. Yeah.
Very exciting. I'll probably end up sounding like a broken record over and over. But I'll just continue to push on making sure we've got a really clear support plan for afterwards.
Yes.
I've had experience with developing applications in the past, internally developed applications when we don't have a great support plan, ends up getting us into trouble later down the road. So obviously things you could be doing now to comment all your code and all of that fun sort of stuff, but making sure we've got a really good transition plan to support for the long term, so we can really unlock the value, because this is an awesome direction.
Thank you, Randy.
Just wanted to say very cool. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. Well, I really want to thank everyone for their time and allowing me to present. And it's been a very fun project for me, and definitely learned a lot. Yeah, I really appreciate all the feedback and just for giving me the time to present.
Good work. Thank you.
All right. So next up, we have Dave Armour. He is the head of the Virginia Transit Liability Pool. So that is our insurance pool. So Dave's going to talk a little bit about how the pool is structured,